So if you emailed me about bass lessons via my website, it may have got lost in my spam folder forever. So if you did and I haven't got back to you, please email me direct. I've created an email address especially for lesson stuff. So basslessonswithrufus@gmail.com. All right, basslessonswithrufus@gmail.com. It'll be in the description below too. All right, so on Instagram, I posted a great line from a Charlie Parker solo from a tune called Coco. And this was from, let me see, I've got it here, 1948, I think it was. So incredible. I mean, I think this thing's like over 70 years old. And one of the things Parker did in this, which is really cool, well, there's not just one thing, there's really many things, but the lines that he was playing in this were very descriptive of the harmony. And this is one of the things that, you know, as I go through solos, I'm always trying to find stuff that outlines changes well. And that line is just so beautiful. So I thought I might just talk about a couple of things that I liked about this. Well, I like all of it. So the first line, which is over a 2 chord of C minor, right? Parker starts off with this. He goes. So he starts on the 5th of the C minor, and then he goes up through the arpeggio, 3rd, 5th, 7, and then this chromatic line from the 9 back into the 7 and down, 7, 5, 3, 1. So like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And one thing I started doing with this line, right, just on this 2 chord, I was hearing this. Check it out. I put in the B natural, the major 7. So you get this slight melodic minor flavor to it, which I really like. Even though the chord is a C minor 7 with the flattened or minor 7th in there, that B, you only hear it for a microsecond there. But it gives it a little brightness, a little tension in the middle of this line. I don't think it's overly emphasized, but it gives it that extra just kind of color. And I think of these as notes as parts of an artist's ears, like the palette, you know. Think of it in terms of tonal color, right? So it's a bit brighter, isn't it? Listen. As opposed to, this is more diatonic, isn't it, to the parent scale, or parent tonality, I should say, of B flat major, because there's no B there. But we put this in, I just think it sounds gorgeous. So that's one thing. Now, the other thing was this, check it out. Then what Parker does, instead of going C minor, F7, he's going C minor and then a quick tritone of the F7 to what turns out to be a major 7 chord, a flat 5 away from F, a B major, and then resolving down into B flat. It's very pretty. This is sometimes used by, you often hear piano players incorporate, especially like a ballad at the conclusion of the tune. You'll sometimes hear this, and there'll even be a pause on that tritone of the 5. It's very pretty. You know, come to the end of the tune, you hear, you know, the 2 chord C minor, 2, into. See what I mean? That kind of idea. So he's doing that with an arpeggiated line. So his line is creating all the harmony there. It's really lovely. So let me play that whole line again now that we've got a little more understanding of it. And what he does here on that 1 chord is he plays this line, which is beautiful. He goes, but what I do is I go and resolve it down into the major 7, right? It's very pretty too to go. You see what I mean? Now, once I find a line that I like that, loop it, all right? So you go. Okay? So that's one way to do it. So when you're practicing stuff, it's a great idea to loop things, you know, and then of course try and transpose that to different keys. So this lick, that starts on the 5th of the 2 chord. The 2 chord C minor, it starts on the 5th, the G, right? So I go, okay, well, let me transpose this to another key. Let me go G minor to C7 to F, but obviously I tritone that. C7, G minor to G flat 7 into F major, right? So I know it starts on the 5th, so it does that, right? Now I've never practiced that before. That's in real time, all right? So part of the thing is seeing if you can do this just on the fly, right? Part of the key to understanding why we develop vocabulary in jazz. It's because you're not snatching stuff constantly out of the ether. You're using learnt vocabulary in the same way as you would construct a sentence when you speak, but you're rearranging it in the moment. And you will also find yourself spontaneously creating things, but you've got to have some sort of vocabulary there to create stuff, all right? So what I did here was I saw, you know, it starts on the 5th, has that 9 down to the 7, and remember I added the major 7, so I'm putting it here, look. Coming down G minor 7, G flat major 7, and then that. See, I'm in F now, so I know that the 1 chord, the 1 major line, starts on the major 7, look here. So it's there. We could also play it down here. Right? It's very easy on the bass to do that because you're just transposing the same fingering. Here I'm using the same fingering, but I'm finding myself having to think more of the notes, right? See what I mean? This is great practice. So find this line in Coco. I might even stick it up on the screen too. And then transpose it into different keys. Now what you're doing is you're getting a technique workout, right? And you're learning the fingerboard and you're learning vocabulary. You've got the 3 things, right? You're getting vocabulary, right? Technique and fingerboard harmony kind of all together. I mean, wow, it's like 3 essential elements of improvising on the bass, right? You've got to have the technique to get the ideas out. You've got to know where the notes are, and you've got to know what notes to play, right? So this is some great vocabulary to work on. All right, so hopefully you dug that. Don't forget, please support the channel. You can do the Buy Me a Coffee link, stop by my website, pick something up. And if you want to hit me up about lessons, don't forget you can get me direct. basslessonswithrufus@gmail.com.